So most of you have either been, seen, or know about San Antonio. It's one of the biggest cities in all of Texas. What if you could go back in time? What if you can go back 300 years ago? What would it look like? Well, today we are going to go on a very exciting journey. We are going to see the 5 missions of San Antonio. Missions were built by the Spanish colonial governments when they were claiming Texas for their own. Of course, you have Christopher Columbus coming to Americas in 1492. Then you have Spain claiming what is today Texas for their own in the 17th century. So in the early 17th century, they said, this is our land. Then came the French, and they took Louisiana, what is present-day Louisiana. And then there was this area that was disputed, and this is exactly where San Antonio is. It was one of the least colonized areas, and to boost that up, to boost their presence, the Spaniards decided to organize multiple missions all over the current San Antonio area to boost their presence politically, but also religiously. They wanted to convert the locals to be Catholic. And once the missions served their purpose, they were willing to close them down. And that's actually what happened to most missions. Most of them were left abandoned and weren't used for hundreds of years until they were repaired in the early 20th century. So today we are going to go and visit the 5 main missions in San Antonio. I've never seen them, so come on a journey with me. It should be exciting. All right, so we are at Mission Espada, which is actually the first mission ever to be commissioned in the state of Texas. Well, in the area of Texas. The mission came to Texas in 1690, but this location came about in 1731, and then the church was built a few decades later. So you can just imagine the Franciscan monks building this with the help of the local natives. Now these houses would house the monks as well as the native population that came here to live as a community in a mission, to learn the trades, to learn about Christianity. Beautiful place. So largely, this area has been left in its original form since the 18th century. So this is a very unique opportunity to walk hundreds of years back in a history and just imagine what life was like. This would be a whole new world for the Native Americans. You know, they would come here, learn trades, learn about Christianity, and for better or for worse, but this was a transition to a new knowledge, and it is fascinating to see where it all happened. Here's actually a good look what it used to look like at its prime. As you can see, many of the building parts are gone, unfortunately, but you can read about it right here. And where we're walking right now is actually the Granaries. So what you see behind me is where all the food that was produced right here in the mission by the monks and the natives was stored. Not much left of the granary, but you know, you can sort of see the scale of the warehouses, and you can sort of imagine how much food these guys made. You can also get up close and sort of feel history with your own hands. You know, you can almost imagine how these rocks were hauled from all different places and under what conditions the cement was made, and you know how the local people learned the skills to build. Unique to be here because it really gives you a sense of what life was like 300 years ago. What these first European settlers, what was their condition like? You can peek through the windows and see the rows. People would sit, listen to the mass. So we actually got pretty lucky. When we were there, a priest opened the church, so we were able to go in. And boy, oh boy, was it beautiful. As we walk in, right away, you can see the wooden roof. That was actually rebuilt after the fire in the 20th century. So unfortunately, that's not the original. But just to be inside this century-old mission was so breathtaking. Right in the center there, you can see a golden statue of Saint Francis, the founder of Franciscan order. And an interesting thing about the statue, it actually revealed to be gold after the fire. So when the whole building was melting down, the tar melted from the statue and it revealed its gold underneath. So it has a unique story behind it. I just took a second to sit here and to acknowledge its beauty. And then another thing that really amazed me was some of the artifacts on the walls. Specifically, what caught my eye was a figure of Jesus Christ right here. And what surprised me is that it had real hair, which is something I never ever seen on a Jesus Christ artifact before. And also the cloth on the Jesus Christ is actually taken from the shirt of St. John Paul II, the Pope, that we had up till recently. So he came to San Antonio and he left his shirt, and from that was made the cloth that you can see on Jesus there on the wall. But yes, what a beautiful little church. The mission was never quite safe. So as the religious and civil life was going on, there was always a danger of raids by the local natives. So what you can see in the walls here is the spaces for guns. So you always had fine balance between peace and warfare.